Before Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, 2 machines nearly killed him. The landing looked calm because the failures happened first. March 16, 1966. Armstrong and David Scott had just completed the first docking of 2 vehicles in orbit. Gemini VIII and an Agena target were joined nose-to-nose when the combined spacecraft began to roll. At first, they blamed the Agena. Armstrong used Gemini's thrusters to stop the motion. The roll returned. Mission Control told them to undock. That made it worse. Free of the Agena, Gemini VIII spun faster, eventually about once every second. The astronauts' vision began to blur. If they blacked out, no one on Earth could fly the capsule for them. Armstrong isolated the real fault. A Gemini roll thruster stuck open. He shut down the orbital maneuvering system and fired a separate set of re-entry thrusters. The spin stopped. The capsule was safe, but the mission was over. They splashed down early in the Pacific. 2 years later, Armstrong climbed into a machine built to fail safely before the real landing had to succeed. The Lunar Landing Research Vehicle was a flying simulator. A jet engine canceled 5/6 of its weight, leaving small thrusters to mimic control in lunar gravity. It was awkward, unstable, and closer to the final seconds over the moon than any cockpit on the ground. On May 6, 1968, Armstrong had been flying for about 5 minutes when the vehicle lost control. Investigators traced the failure to lost helium pressure and depleted hydrogen peroxide in reserve attitude thrusters. The warning came too late. At roughly 200 feet, Armstrong ejected. His parachute opened. The vehicle hit the ground and burned. Armstrong walked away without injury. Later that day, he went back to his office and finished his paperwork. NASA did not dismiss the crash as bad luck. Engineers changed the warning system and operating rules. Armstrong returned to the improved Lunar Landing Training Vehicle and completed his final flights only weeks before Apollo 11 launched. He later called that training the most valuable preparation for the landing. Then, on July 20, 1969, the rehearsal became real. Eagle's computer was guiding Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin toward a field of rocks near West Crater. Armstrong took manual control, pitched the lander forward, and flew about 1,100 feet beyond the planned area, searching for clear ground. Below 300 feet, he said, the job was mostly visual, looking outside, judging motion, and choosing a place to land. That was exactly the work the training vehicle had forced him to practice. Fuel calls counted down. Aldrin read altitude and descent rate. Armstrong kept moving until the boulders were behind them, then settled Eagle onto the surface. Gemini VIII had taught him how to diagnose a failing control system while his body was being overwhelmed. The training crash had taught NASA which warnings arrived too late, and had given Armstrong hours of practice making the final descent by eye. Apollo 11 did not look calm because nothing went wrong. It looked calm because Armstrong had already learned what to do when it did. For more hidden history, like and subscribe.